Philip Montrose here. My wife Jane and I, we help people step up, tap into the heart of success with holistic coaching and healing. And today I want to introduce you to a powerful approach to healing called spiritual kinesiology, SK. It's a process we developed in the 1990s and have used with great success, and many other people have too that we've trained. And it uses healing and also guidance from the soul or your spiritual wisdom or intelligence, as you'll see in this short demo. Spiritual kinesiology is as powerful as other energy modalities like EFT, can be used alone or with others. It uses muscle testing, kinesiology, and that's optional. And in this demo, you'll see one of our checklists called the Current Lessons Checklist, which can help you detect issues and pin it and zoom in on them. However, it's not needed. The main intervention is reframing and anchoring, as it's called, an NLP term. And we reframe with the soul's awareness and energy, which is not only good for healing, but for the guidance as well, which makes it very powerful and effective. In this short demo, I help Rashan transitioning in her career as an entrepreneur, and some of the challenges she had and concerns which showed up on the muscle testing, as you'll see, and affected her on core levels, which she was able to recognize and overcome with the spiritual kinesiology. So I'm with Rashan here, and we're going to do a current lesson checklist, a muscle testing checklist with her, and see what is revealed so we can do some reframing and anchoring. So the spiritual kinesiology is muscle testing, which is optional, but helpful. And then the key is that reframing and anchoring with the soul to go deeper for the clearing and the guidance. So the current lesson checklist, I'll just ask you some questions, or actually statements, make statements. And the way you could muscle test, and I could muscle test for her surrogately, or she could do it herself, which she could do. I know she can in this case. And it's how she reacts, how her body instinctively, immediately reacts to the statement. So if it's a positive, you come slightly forward like that's agreeable, or it would be a yes, would be another way of saying it. And going back as a no, a negative for you. So when we do a baseline test, you could just say, my name is Rashan.
Okay. My name is Rashan.
Okay. Say, my name is Joseph.
My name is Joseph.
Okay, so that's sort of a subtle movement back. So that's just a baseline that you know you're Rashan and not Joseph. So now we're going to look at using the power of spiritual kinesiology in the current lesson checklist, one of the many checklists we use for this powerful approach to energy healing. So it starts with a focus on, and we're going to go through a series of statements, and the statements actually correlate to the different chakras, the energies the chakras govern. So, and then we'll see how you react to each statement. So focus on physical survival. Next, focus on emotions. Next, focus on your power in the world. Next, focus on unconditional love or relationships. Okay. And next, focus on communication. Next, focus on your vision. And last, focus on your inner knowing. All right. So in that, some were positive, some were negative, some were strong, some were weak. In other words, some you felt strong, for instance, on your power in the world and communication and vision. So we can do this general or even start off with a specific issue. But the way to get to a specific now is to take one of those areas and see what it brings up. So we're going to focus on one of those ones that were weak, which was physical survival, emotions, unconditional love, or inner knowing. So one of those are weak. So we could focus on any of those, and we could even muscle test or do this movement. There are different ways to muscle test, many different ways which we teach and you can learn. But does one stand out, just to use our time here
Sure.
efficiently? So the ones that were weak were physical survival, emotions, unconditional love, or inner knowing. Do one of those just have a kind of a resonance, like something's up there, that there's a charge on one of those? There is a charge on all of them, but does one stand out?
Hmm. I feel like inner knowing seems to be strong.
Okay.
Like strong for it.
Strong in terms of weak or
Right, like a lot
charge,
of
a negative
yeah,
charge on it. Okay.
negative charge. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is just a way of starting to know. So then the next part is to focus on your inner knowing, and when you could just ask a general question, says, what does that bring up to you? Focus on your inner knowing relating to your, it could be your physical survival, it could be the 7 chakras again, relating to your physical survival. You can start to muscle test. So,
Oh, got yeah. Okay.
okay, focus on your inner knowing, physical survival. So when you listen to the statement, see if it is strong or weak. Focus on your inner knowing regarding your physical survival, regarding your inner knowing regarding your emotions, your inner knowing regarding your power in the world, your inner knowing regarding unconditional love, your inner knowing regarding your communication, inner knowing regarding your vision, okay? And so the ones that were the sub-levels, getting specific here, so there's your inner knowing regarding your physical survival was an issue, or unconditional love was an issue. Those are 2 that stood out there. Was there anything else you noticed that stood out?
Yeah, yeah, I think it was physical survival and what was the other one?
Unconditional
Emotion?
love. Unconditional love.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So of those 2, which one is a priority? Which one is the one that we should look at now? They probably are all related, and you do one and the other ones often are helped, but we want to start somewhere specifically. So which one is more up for you? Do you have a feeling for that? Or we can
Maybe
even,
physical survival.
okay. So, and tell me a little specifically what that means to you.
I guess in relation to my inner knowing, trusting that, the ideas that I have for changing my career over to entrepreneurship will lead to me being able to provide a good physical environment. Things are a little bit up and down right now financially, and it is because I've started this new journey, and I think my mind still relates physical safety with like a traditional job. So when I get really down on myself, I'm like, the only thing I think is, oh, well, I should get a job. But then my inner knowing says no, because you're supposed to be doing this other thing.
Okay.
Right. But it's like hard to trust that voice because I'm like, I don't see how
Right.
that
So there's
translates.
something, so this is what is called a block or an inner resistance, something that needs attention and healing and integrating, and that's spiritual kinesiology is a great energy tool to do that. So the next step then is to do the reframing and anchoring with the soul, and it's a simple process of shifting the energy, and sometimes some guidance comes in too. So the simple reframing and anchoring is touching 2 points on your body, which are anchors or reference points to anchor the energy. The negative one is the negative energy of that we talked about, the inner knowing regarding your survival, your safety. And that's the negative that we're going to heal, and we're going to collapse that. We're going to merge that with your soul, your higher wisdom. Okay?
Yeah.
And so where do you feel that resistance, that physical survival problem regarding your inner knowing, Rashan? Where do you feel that in your body?
It's usually like just kind of an anxiety, like in the chest, maybe even in the arms a little bit, like chest aiding out
Okay,
into the
so in your
arms.
chest. Okay, so just put your hand on it. Okay, so now remove your hand so we can measure that anxiety. You already told me the emotion, right?
Mhm.
Now 10 is total anxiety, 1 is very little. What number, when you think about that shift to the entrepreneurship and the safety, the physical survival, 1 out of 10, how anxious?
Like at 8?
All right, that's
Maybe 8.
whatever you get is the right answer. So now we'll do the reframing and anchoring. So we did we anchored the negative anchor at this point on the chest, and now we're going to do the positive. And there are many ways we can connect with the soul. And I'll do a simple way. I know you know different ways of connecting to the higher energy, and we'll do a very brief little guidance here. And you could go to a spot in nature or a higher place or a wonderful place in your mind. That's one way to do it. But we'll do it where you connect by closing your eyes and just breathing in pure, clear energy into your whole body as you close your eyes, Rashan.
Mhm.
And once you close your eyes and you're connecting with this wonderful, pure, clear energy with every breath, breathe it in to all the cells of your body with the perfect peace and love and healing. And as it comes more and more into your center, you're connecting it with everything. And as you imagine even further, Rashan, you imagine an opening above your head, and coming in is the connectedness with everything, with source, with perfect unity and healing and love and the right acceptance, expansion. All of that is coming to you in the right way for you. And when you're beginning to get a good sense of that, put your right hand on your right head, side of your head. Yeah, there you go. So you're connected with it. And as you're connected with it, tell me a little bit, what's that experience like for you, that connecting with that higher energy or awareness?
Well, I instantly felt like peace come over
Mm-hmm.
me, and I felt like that energy knows what's best for me and knows
Mm-hmm.
what I want,
Mm-hmm.
and guiding me and supporting me, that I'm not like alone in
Mm-hmm.
trying to create this new thing all by myself.
Okay, so remove your hand and clear your mind. Excellent. Now we're going to do the last part of the reframing and anchoring. And so you touch the chest area with your other hand, uh, and then go back to the side of your head with the other hand, both together. And now remove the negative anchor, the one from your chest, collapse that, remove that, just hang out, thinking of nothing. Okay, and from this place, Rashan, you might be getting a sense or an awareness of your situation, your inner knowingness regarding your survival and safety. Is there any kind of sense or image or understanding of that?
Yeah, well, definitely to connect with this soulful part when I'm feeling frightened, because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I usually, that's the hardest time. Like to connect for me when I'm feeling anxious. Like I'll find all
Yes.
other kind of distractions, but like,
Right.
you know, to connect with the soulful part, and then maybe I wouldn't feel so bad. Because like every time I do connect with the soulful part, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, right.
So what's it telling you right now, the soulful part?
Oh, okay. That I'm being guided, um, that there's a plan in place, that I'm supported,
Mm-hmm.
and that I'm not alone.
Right. Very good. And remove your hand. Take a nice deep breath. So those are wonderful insights and awarenesses. Okay, very good. That was one round of spiritual kinesiology. Now we'll reevaluate. So excellent, Rashan. So when you notice your heart area and your inner knowing now, and regarding your survival and safety, what's it like?
It's so much better. It's like a 4, maybe even a 3. It's gone down a
Okay,
lot. Like
so it's
yeah,
going
like a
down.
3.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. So that means we could do a second round. Is there anything else that's coming up, a different aspect of it besides the anxiety about the survival? Is there anything else, or is that still it?
Um. Yeah, I guess it's just I don't know how to verbalize it. Like just having faith in the process, like each little step, like being
Mm-hmm.
able to just like keep going, even though I may not exactly see how it's all going to translate into the physical
Yeah.
safety.
So feeling it that you have the strength to persevere and follow
Yeah,
through.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. Because the first thing that will derail me from following through is anxiety. Like
Right.
that's
That would link to it. So that sort of lack of will,
yeah.
that lack of
Mm-hmm.
perseverance.
Yes.
Okay. So how much lack of will that like having no will is 0. Well, let's see. How do we measure this? Sort of an opposite number. Well, if you had
Um.
total will, it would be 10. How much will do you have
Mhm.
now to follow through? Let's do the numbers opposite.
Okay. So I would say it's like at about a 7.
That's
I
pretty
have a 7 will.
pretty good. And
Yeah.
the anxiety went down to 3, and it still may be shifting because clearing takes time, and as the minutes go on, you can be
Hmm.
3 in 1 minute, and a minute later 0. In fact, how much anxiousness is left right now?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's actually feeling a lot better. Yeah, I feel like it's like a 2.
Okay, so we could do one more round of reframing and anchoring. So you just take it, put your hand on your chest where the energy was, the remaining energy. Now clear your mind and think of nothing. Remove your hand. Good. Now connect with that wonderful soulfulness, that peacefulness, that connected energy like you did before, where you're supported, right? And yeah,
Hmm.
put your hand, that's correct, on your head as you connect with it. Good. And it gets stronger as you connect, and remove your hand. You remove your hand now, and now you put both hands, both anchors back on the chest and the head. Good. And removing the hand on the chest, collapsing that, removing that. Good. Taking a deep breath and removing your hand. Good. And we take just a second here to has the energy shift. And now what are you noticing, Rashan?
I'm noticing, yeah, from this place,
Right.
it's kind of hard to be anxious. Like when
Right.
I'm,
In that place, there's nothing to be anxious about. Right.
yeah.
So it's a matter of being in that place, and you can't just, you can you can train yourself. If you do this more often, it becomes more natural and more automatic. And I know you already
Hmm.
do that to some extent, and you may need to apply it in this specific area.
Hmm.
So
Yes.
how was that process for you, that spiritual kinesiology process for you?
It was great. I'm always just amazed at how quickly it shifts and how powerful that soul part really is. You know, it's like one thing to know it logically,
Right.
to feel it, actually feel its presence is big, you know, a big difference from like knowing, you know, oh, there's this soulful part. But then when you actually feel it and it's like so loving and supportive, it's like, why don't I try that more often? Why don't I connect with that more often? So, yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you do it, the more you will. You did a wonderful job. And in concluding here, let's just do the final reevaluation, the muscle test, to go back to where we started. So we're going to muscle test on by moving your body forward or backward. So when you focus now on inner knowing regarding your survival and safety, check that out. So it's strong. And again, we could muscle test her if she's in the room. I could surrogately muscle test or do it back and forth for. There's many ways to muscle test. Well, any other final thoughts in this part of closing your process with the current lesson checklist?
No, just thank you, because the inner knowing part's a big, like trusting myself is a big part of this process for me. And that seems to be like what goes real quick. Like I don't trust myself. So this was good to be able to shift that.
You bet.
Thank you.
Since you've used reframing and anchoring before, and you've been actually a student of ours and trained in this, Rashawn, what have you noticed or what have you found the benefits of learning reframing and anchoring in spiritual kinesiology this way?
Oh, wow. Well, just that you can shift something so quickly, like so very quickly. You can be in such a state, whatever that state is, or have a really strong belief or physical sensation, and then just by doing the movement, it usually, I mean, every time I've done it, it shifts like every single time. So to me, that's really profound. And because it just connects you so much to that soulful place or that higher place, however, you know, you're doing it at the time. That just always leaves me feeling shifted.
Great.
And that's what I've seen in other people too, when doing it with them too. They feel
it's
shifted.
powerful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.